Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, the cancer! The cancer won't come off! The cancer is still here! AKA, we're still here doing patch notes. So, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, League of Legends lovers, and haters, welcome back. We are here for the patch 25.05 patch notes, which means, despite what I said, I believe, last patch note video, sadly, we're still covering patch notes, but also not sadly because I also enjoy doing this to an extent. So we did not rid ourselves of the cancer, and I am naked right now, and I tried to wash it off. But it's still here. We're still here. We outside. Let's get to it. So between last 2 weeks and this patch, what happened? Well, League basically almost melted. Everyone got in a tizzy. Things were going wrong left and right, and League went into panic mode, and Riot finally did something I never thought they would do. They went back on what they doubled down on twice. They're giving us chests back. This is where I already covered this in a more in-depth video, but to kind of give a TLDR, and I'm pretty sure they're going to mention it here too because they need to appease the community right now. I thought they were going to be like Activision Blizzard. I thought they were going to give it to us back because there's no way they couldn't. If they couldn't, this game was actually probably going to start being on a downward trend. Because I heard a lot of, well, not like, crazy amounts, but I heard decent metrics on people boycotting the game in different ways. So it did end up having a result. And again, I thought they would give us chests back in a more scummy way, in a way that was either as good or worse than before. But they actually gave it back to us better. Again, super TLDR. The first iteration of chests was with S ranks on champions you didn't get S's for that season on, which I think amounted to a total, because you would get 4 at the start, and then obviously there's 52 weeks, you would get 1 every week. So I believe that was 56 total. With the newer version that was here about a year ago, or at least a couple months ago, they changed it to where it was revolving around mastery. So at that point, you could get multiple chests, at least 2, I think, on the same champion, but the first one was easy to get, the second one was hard to get, but they did up the amount to where you could get 75 per year. So now we're in the sweet spot. I believe you get 10 per pass, starting with the new one, which is coming in this patch. And they're very easy to get. 2 of them are tied to honor, the rest are tied to the battle pass, so you do have to play. But at this point, you could play what you want, when you want, where you want. It literally doesn't matter. And 60 is the nice sweet spot. It's not as much as 75, although not many people got that 75. And it's still more than the 56, which again, some people didn't get, because at the end of the year, when you used most of your main champs, unless you were playing with other people who also got an S, you really had to go and play other champions you probably weren't good at. But regardless, this is where the chests are returning. We still have the sad parts of like the gotcha and everything like that, which, it is what it is. Not everything can be solved, but I would take it as a big win, and League isn't saved, but we fought and we got what we needed back in a better way than before. So it's great. Aside from that, though, we have Arena coming back this patch. We have the new Battle Pass, which we're going to probably talk about a little bit, and all the other balance changes and stuff that doesn't seem as important after everything that's happened recently. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to continue doing patch notes. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into having to do them each time. However, I probably will keep doing it, but just putting that in there for a backdoor for myself. Anyway, let's get into it. A new challenger has entered the ring. It's patch 25.05. With a new naming system, too, that they adopted from last patch, which is way fucking better, thank God. So, the first patch of Act 2 is here. We're getting a new Battle Pass, which already had its own controversy, which it was really ass, and then they made it a little less ass, but it's still pretty ass. This is where they said allegedly, and this is where I'm a little, just a tiny little bit, apt to believe them here because of what they did with chests recently. They said the passes after Act 2 are going to get better because, my god, a lot of the skins in Act 1 and Act 2 were fucking god-awful. And they didn't have backs. They basically, they have the same animations, but that's to be expected. It's not legendaries. But even legendaries that are coming have the same animations too. But they actually removed some of the skins from this patch. They reworked it, and they're giving, I think, better free rewards and stuff like that. And better rewards just in general. But, man, the Alistar skin was so hot garbage. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. But either way. We've got a lot of stuff in this one, changes from the recent dev update, what to expect from this battle pass and future passes, balance tweaks, and the return of Arena, which is going to be pretty big because they really upped the quality of that shit, which I'm very excited for. Very sad it's not a permanent game mode, but the stats really showed that, as with a lot of things with League, it was great at first, it held on for a bit, but it fizzled out. I don't know which one did better though, Swarm or Arena, because they kind of came out almost around the same time. Although Arena was out for fucking like 6 months on the second run, but I think Swarm, I think, did probably one of the best. I think that was one of their best events. And it was, like, so fun. Oh, my God. But anyway, 25.05 is the patch that holds First Stand, our first big international tournament of the year. As a result, this patch live balance updates are largely pro-focused. Oh, boy, it's going to be boring. The biggest change to this patch is to make the common pro play practice of lane swapping non-viable. Oh, yeah. So, I saw this. I saw people freaking out about this. This is an insano change. Like, this is actually crazy what they're doing to the game. They are saying, like, they would be more, like, soft-handed with it. They'd be like, all right, we're going to heavily incentivize you not to do it. You literally cannot do it anymore. Riot came in, took out their fucking wiener, and said, if you do this, this is going in your mouth. Or you're behind. One of the two, if not both. So don't do it. You legitimately cannot lane swap anymore. And I have some opinions on this, but we'll get into that. As always. We've had several mechanics that penalize teams who send 2 non-junglers into top or mid lane between 1:30 and 3:30. These mechanics won't take effect if your team has no junglers at all, so your 5-stack 2-1-2 games are safe, which is, I actually didn't even think of, but wow. And delivers warnings if you're about to trigger these mechanics otherwise. It literally is like a big thing on your screen, like, don't do this, this is what's about to happen, get out. Which is hilarious. Several of this year's top performers in Ambessa, which is crazy. I didn't think Ambessa was that good. Cassante, as always, Aurora, Skarner are all receiving nerfs. Wow, Skarner's still crazy. We're tapping down Ashe and Elise, who were overbuffed, adjusting Papadopoulos to be better in top and jungle, while being worse in support, which was her best role. And nerfing the new hotness that is high-speed mid-lane Cho'Gath. I'm a little bit out of it because I completed the pass about 3 weeks ago. So I haven't really played too much League, but wow. Aside from the ARF this weekend with Clash, but wow. So, pretty hot patch. Let's see what's going on. Patch highlights, we don't care. And they're going to show the new skins, but we'll go over those at the end. But TLDR, they're not good. So, Hextech chests, getting champs, and more. So, again, we kind of already went over this. I have a video going more in depth, but we'll go into it here too. Recently, we made a number of mistakes that didn't hit the mark for everyone. We've been listening to your feedback, yeah, and their wallets have been listening too, and it's clear that there are areas where we need to adjust. We're making some updates to ensure League is a game that feels rewarding for free-to-play players. This is where, again, the biggest thing I think that they did was they looked at the stats, and this is something that they started doing for champions and balance and win rates and everything. If a champion is like near 50% or something, if they're above, if they're below it, that's how they kind of take it. They don't really take like the why. They look kind of, in my opinion, too much at stats sometimes. And this is where they saw chests were giving players a lot of free skins. So their conclusion to that was, okay, players are getting too much shit for free, we need to take it away. Now here's the problem with that. You're getting too much random shit for free. And let's not, let's ignore the fact that there's gacha in the game. Let's ignore the fact that there's skin bloat in the game because there's so many skins, lessening quality, all of that fact, right? At the end of the day, if I want a Jhin skin, chests will very rarely give me the Jhin skin I want. They will give me random skins and then I can reroll into another decent skin, sure, but free-to-play players were not the issue. Players like me were the issue, and I will show you exactly what the issue was. If we go to crafting here, this was the fucking issue. I have all of these orbs, and I'm not a free-to-play. I'm a paid player, right? I have all these orbs, all these tokens, all these other things. And this is because I grind this shit out, and I'm getting way more value than I'm paying. But I've earned that because I've grinded. Now, whether they want to change that or not, that's a different question. But either way, free-to-play players were not the problem here. Anyway, we're making some updates to ensure League is a game that feels rewarding and worth your time. A few of these changes you'll see go live in this patch, but others will take us a bit more time to get ready for you. We go into more detail, and I've went into more detail too, but here's a TLDR. So, 10 Hextech chests and keys. So keys are no longer separate, which I think, again, is a great thing, because there's usually a mismatch in keys and chests, which is great. 8 on the free battle pass, so no matter what, you don't have to pay. 2 additional with honor, so you have to be a good little boy, which is up to 60 per year. Chests from both the pass and the honor will be the exact same chests as the one you got before. They're not nerfed in any way, which is great. The 2 Hextech chests from honor will be coming in patch 25.06, so I don't know if that's yet, but give me a sec. Anyway, so going forward, where was I? I scrolled up by accident. Here we go. So they will be replacing the free battle pass skin, which I think is fine because usually that free battle pass skin was ass anyway. But oh, also I remember why I scrolled up. Was this 25.06? No. Oh, so it's coming next patch. So this patch, we're not gonna have the extra 2, but this pass lasts for a while, so we're still getting the 10 at the end, just not all right away, which is fine. Anyway, the blue essence cost of all champions will be reduced by 50, which is a huge thing. I forgot about this too. There's a big argument, and again, I said this all in the other video, but there's a big argument that these champions should be free, and I think it's a great argument, because then you'd easily sell more skins, and people would be more apt to pick up the game. There might be a little bit of information overload, but League has gotten very free-to-play friendly, or sorry, very beginner friendly in a lot of ways than it was. Is it fully beginner friendly? Not really. But it's way better than it was, same with toxicity. But yeah, it getting reduced by 50%, it's a step in the right direction. Same with the chest stuff. So that's great. They're adding 25 Mythic Essence to the paid battle pass to replace 1 paid pass skin, which again was probably ass. Now, I personally don't care about this because you can't use the Mythic Essence to get skins anymore. Sadly, it is what it is. Clash is going back to monthly cadence, which is great because they were going to reduce rewards with that anyway. Your shop is coming back as originally planned, and people thought it was going away, and with what Riot was doing, I don't blame them. Blessings Emporium will return as originally planned. They make it sound like it wasn't, and then they changed their mind because people got angry. But either way, they're consolidating all key fragments into keys, and they're rounding up, which is great. Now, the only question I have is, if you have a mismatch now with the current system, right, and then there's not really a way to earn just keys by themselves anymore, I don't think. What are you going to do? At that point, do you have to buy keys? Because in the past, you used to be able to exchange, or not orbs, tokens for key fragments. But now you can't do that anymore because there's no tokens. So what the hell do you do? So very curious to see what they're going to do with that. Any key fragment amount greater than 0 round up to 3. And you just need to forge them into a key in your inventory. This is taking a little bit of time to put together. So it's going to be, hopefully, in this patch. They're delaying San Uzal, which is great. So again, a lot of good things happen. Not the ultimate good, but a lot of great things. So this is going to affect the rating at the end because this is happening in this patch, which is amazing. But again, I don't want it to seem like, oh, you know, we went from something good to something bad to getting something good back and we're going to like be happy. That shouldn't happen. But again, it is a better system overall. And obviously they said increasing the quality of battle pass skins going forward. We'll see what that really means. Because even, you know, if it was Fortnite saying it, I'd believe it. Riot saying it, I'm a little iffy because business-wise, they have no incentive for that. And the passes are still overall like worse than before. They're better than they were, but worse than before. And by better than they were, I mean with Act 1. So either way, this is what's in the pass. Whoop-de-doo. We're not going to go over all this because this is nonsense. And then change FAQ. Since that's the change, we've seen a handful of questions, and they're going to be, I guess, addressing them. Will chests be nerfed? To kind of look at this here, so basically, no, it's everything the same. What does this mean for champion charge? Doesn't this mean the value reduces? The goal is to not nerf the disenchant value. Yeah, because at that point, doesn't it really take away a lot of essence for the Emporium? At that point, the Emporium is harder to do unless they're adjusting prices there, but let's see. With 25.05 going live, it should also include a fix that decouples the disenchant price for champion shards from the cost, meaning shards should disenchant for the value you expect them to before the 50% reduction is made across the board. TLDR, shards disenchant for the same price, champions still cost less, which is great. Regarding Rel and Alistar, the 2 skins that were basically getting ripped from the past, which are ass anyway, IMO, but will there be another way for players to grab the skins since they're gone from the Act 2 pass now? This is where the only other time I kind of remember Riot doing this is with the Sown Chaos skins that were about to come out for, I believe, Blitzcrank and someone else. I don't fully remember, but excuse me. But there was another skin that was Sown Chaos that didn't come out. That's the only other time I can remember them not giving us skins that were basically almost all ready. So what are they doing here? One of the many things on our list to figure out, they should just give it for free. Those skins are basically chromas. The All-Star skin isn't, in particular, just wasn't very good, and they acknowledge that, which is crazy. We're leaning towards just putting more time into another skin. The All-Star is coming later this year. Okay, so they revealed that the All-Star is getting another skin. Instead of trying to improve the one giving the starting point isn't that strong. Yeah, it's literally ass. He's, like, it's basically just Noxus, like, alley. It's really not crazy. As for Rel, we're going to be simply adding her skin to the shop at $9.75. Cool. So if you wanted that shitty-ass Rel skin, you can have it. Lane swaps. Oh, dear lord. I don't know if I want to read all this because I don't have infinite time, but let me skim this at least. On the Pro Focus patch, we're taking a heavy swing at lane swaps. For those unfamiliar, basically they swap with bot and top. Instead of playing out conventional 1v1 top lanes and 2v2 bot lanes, they basically fuck up the backs. Not only does this unevenness make certain champions really unplayable, yeah, it's meant to cuck people. It's a strategy. If they can't withstand the lane swap, it deprives viewers of watching the more exciting heads-up matches that conventional lane provides. And not even pro players are particularly excited to play these uneven lanes out. I'm curious to see if that's actually true. I don't fully trust Riot here, but I also don't know because I'm not into pro too much anymore. But I'll tell you this, the whole change they made where you can't play the Sham Champion again in the series, I think is amazing. I think this is probably going to cause things to overall be better just personally, but it really begs the question of, like, if you have a strategy and it's not something that fans like, it's not something that Riot likes, but it is a legitimate strategy, will it get taken away from you if it doesn't align with Riot's agenda? It's a very, very good question. Let's keep looking. Our prior design for reducing lane swaps, making top and mid outer tower take reduced damage. Again, they were trying to, like, low-key push it, not as heavy-handed as it is now. Is insufficient, as the amount of gold we're comfortable pushing into turret plates is not high enough to outweigh the potential benefits. This is where basically bot lane had no turret plating like armor, where top, or sorry, not armor, there was like a special buff where top and mid would take a lot less damage very early, but bot wouldn't. So it was kind of like an uneven thing. But either way. Result, we're implementing some very strong and targeted early game penalties. Yeah, literally, do not do this. These rules will not affect teams who don't play with any junglers at all, so basically that's good, which you already know. Once the laning phase starts, we'll be detecting if two non-junglers are spending time together in the early laning phase. If so, they'll be met with strong income penalties that should outweigh just playing out their normal laning phase. The defending champion will gain perfect gold and experience from anything nearby, minions or tower kills. What's more, top laners on the receiving end will nearly be impossible to tower dive. Due to short duration and diffuse nature, our hope is that these rules have limited effect on non-pro league gameplay, which they probably will do literally nothing for most people. But it is crazy. If you decide to lane swap, you get 1 gold for the minions. The enemy, again, gets perfect gold, and they don't even have to last hit. And you do next to no damage to the tower, and the tower, like, basically two-shots you. It is wild. But anyway, we won't go too much more into it. I think this is hilarious. And this goes again into the other thing, or into the thing I was saying before, where it's like, League is kind of guiding you into, like, what to do. Now, obviously, it's not crazy, right? But we get into the idea of the slippery slope here, where it's like, how much are they going to dictate how you can play the game if you're, especially a pro player, where you can come up with, like, advanced tactics like this? This is where this reminds me of a story of a Singed support main, who I believe took Smite and basically did what is commonplace now. They say fuck the AD and leave the lane and just go like counter jungle and shit. But this Singed support, from what I remember, was actually really good and he won games. But obviously the AD playing with him was infuriated and it was very, very different. And this guy ended up getting banned. Even though he was not trolling, he was trying to win and it was a legitimate strategy. This is where if something goes against the grain too much, is it stricken down? And it seems like in extreme cases, yes, which is very scary. It's almost like totalitarianism where you don't do what they want. I think it's totalitarianism. Basically, it's a dictatorship. You do what Riot wants. If you do something out of the norm, they'll strike it down. But obviously, it's not that bad. This is still a slippery slope situation, though, and we gotta see if anything else happens. But I personally think this is something that is fine to take away. I think at the end of the day, this is a business, and pro play is pro play. It is its own animal, but I don't. If the pros don't like it either, then it's fine. But you know, I guess it's a game failing that they do it. It's a failing on the game balance team, because the fact that they've tried to get rid of it and the players don't like it, but they're still forced to do it because it's probably the most optimal, excuse me, really says something. But League is a very complicated game. But either way, While detected, defending turret has 95% damage reduction. Defending turret deals 1000% damage, so it one-shots the minions. It gives gold and XP of their kills to the nearest allied champion in lane, which is crazy. Offending champions will gain 50% less gold and XP. This will linger for 20 seconds and 6 seconds for mid lane. 20 seconds top lane. The top lane only, the defending turret will also do 1000 damage to champions. So top lane it's even worse because usually bot lane goes up there. But either way. Overall, it's very, very interesting that they're doing this. I think it's okay. I think it'll lead to probably better games, but I really don't know. And I'm really curious to see what the pros think. But either way, Otacon's spawn influence. I think overall they have Otacon in a nice spot. I hate the GA thing. The GA thing feels a little bit nerfed, but as with move speed, respawning is a very, very powerful stat. Or not even stat, what am I saying? It's a very, very powerful mechanic. So we gotta see what happens. We're making some adjustments with Otacon's form spawn rules around tower dash to better catch deaths that happen between two teams' towers. We're increasing the effect on score for the first few kills in tower dives, which will result in early game having more influence. Cool. There's not really much more to say there. Paragon Chroma updates. What the fuck is this? For Paragon Chromas, we want to make a change to them that recently they weren't so sparkly prismatic disco ball. We're not anti-disco ball, but the texture just had a bit strong of an impact. We made this change with the Arcane Paragon Chromas. What the fuck is this? Some of you noticed that retroactively changed the Hall of Legends Paragon Chromas as well. These were skins that already existed and known. It didn't feel great to change them so heavily, especially if we acquired them. This patch we're somewhat reverting that change to the middle ground between two. I have no clue what the fuck they're even talking about. What the fuck is this? Let me search this up. League of Legends Paragon Chroma. What are Paragon Chromas? The new Arcane skins have Paragon Chromas in the Sanctum. Oh. Oh, so this is just for the new Arcane skins. Okay, whatever. Man, who the fuck gives a fuck? Either way, let's continue. So, that's getting changed to Summoner's Rift map. So they said they're going to change it, which, again, I already thought this change is kind of ass. We should have gotten map skins a long time ago, along with map announcers, but it is what it is. I haven't seen the new changes. I'm assuming it's not going to be much because we're basically getting Summoner's Rift fall version. That's all it is. The turrets and Nexus and inhibitors are nice, though. The Noxus map has been updated to make it a little less dreary, particularly in the lanes, bringing a tone a bit more closer to standard Rift, which, you know, I guess we're just making it more like regular. Cool. Looks like some foliage has made it into the structures, though. Did our gardener take the day off? Okay, whatever. This is nonsense. So, Ambizi. So again, this is really pro-focus, like they said. I feel like Ambessa in regular play is really not that good. But let's see. Ambessa's too good at assassinating squishy targets. I mean, yeah, she literally goes to the back of the line for free. Taking down some base damage to make sure she needs to hit the right number of spells to kill her targets. They're taking away 20 damage. This is whatever. This is just whatever. Okay, Aphelios. Wow. So remember, this is post the attack speed buff, where instead of the cap being 2.5, it's 3. I don't feel like Aphelios can hit that too easily. Maybe late game extremely he could, depending on the items. Because he does get a lot of just stats in his kit from his passive. But I feel like Aphelios was always a guy who's great late game. It's just getting there is hard. So let's see what they're doing. Aphelios isn't critically weak, but the current builds mostly focus on spell-based outputs and not his actual attacks, which is sad. But they did buff up a lot of his fucking like little his little turrets that he could put out with the chakram. So it's like, you know, you buffed a lot of his spells. Why is he building stuff that's using spell-based shit? I don't know. What a big surprise, right? We're buffing up his attack speed ratio to make investing in attack speed a bit more rewarding. I have no clue how the fuck this affects him because I'm not that big on the numbers, but it's a buff. Cool. So, Ashe. Apparently, Ashe was too strong with the arrow change, which is ironic. We overshot last patch's Ashe buff by a bit. I wonder if AP Ashe was going crazy. We'd like to rein in that overcorrection. This is meant to be a small nerf, as she's pretty close to her intended power level, whatever that might be. So they're basically nerfing it by 50. That's fine. It should still do the full AoE, which is great. So I still take it as overall buff. Aurora. This champion has been so changed. Again, it's not to the level of Cassandra and Yuumi. Cassandra and Yuumi are S tier. Like, they get changed so often. There's such issues. It's ridiculous. Ryze used to be in that tier too. At least through 3 works. Aurora, I think, is right below that. I think in terms of, like, problematic stuff, she's A tier. She's not that bad, but she's very different from her original release, I would say. Aurora is too good at catching out targets and bursting them in the mid-game, so it takes down some of her reliable burst and making it less punishing. So, her E, which is her escape as well, is going down by 10% scaling, which is fine. Her R, the slow, is going from 75 to 50. Oof. So, interesting. I think these are a little hard to hit. It is a little dangerous to use. I don't know, man. I just feel bad for Aurora. She still does a shit ton of damage, though, so maybe this is warranted, but I feel like I barely see Aurora. But again, this is pro focus, so it's fine. Cho'Gath. I'm assuming this is in pro because I have not even heard of this shit. Like, this sounds like full attack speed gen. Again, it can work, but it's kind of like cheese troll. But let's see what's happening. Mid lane high speed Cho'Gath has caught on as an overperformer, so we're trying to bring down his power level to a more reasonable level. We're specifically targeting his basic ability burst damage. Those outputs are what makes the playstyle so strong. Adjusting ease damage to rely more on ranks represents another light hit to burst Cho'Gath. Compensates top Cho for the damage loss on Q and W. What? So, the base damage is going down by 20, which is whatever. Feral Scream is going down by 20. And then Vorpal Spikes is going slightly up. Base. Wow, okay, by 0.5. Not bad. So I think the E is probably my favorite part of the kit. The Q is pretty nice, to be honest. The W is whatever. I think the W is the worst part of the kit, personally. I think Cho'Gath not only needs a ASU, he really needs a fucking VGU. Fuck the ASU. They can do so good with Cho'Gath. He's a very simple champion, which, again, we need to have some simple champions, but we have people like Garen, we have people like Trend. Let Cho'Gath be unique. Let him be interesting. Keep his ult, change the rest of the kit. Aside from maybe the E, but we'll see. But I would love to see a Cho'Gath VGU one day. But I think this is fine. I think the E is basically leaning into his niche where the more health he has, the more damage he's going to do. Obviously, you could go AP Cho, but obviously they don't like that. Which is sad, because AP Cho is really fun, but it's really troll. Either way, Elise, I always say this, Elise should either be reworked or removed. Same with Lee Sin. So last patches changed 16 and bring Elise's jungle and support, which was crazy, closer together, but we overshot the magnitude of our buffs. So what are they doing? I remember they nerfed one thing and they buffed another, I believe, but let's see what they're doing here. So the human Q, Neurotoxin, is getting nerfed by 20. Fine. And then the Spider Q is getting nerfed by... What is it getting nerfed by? Oh, sorry, by 10 early. Okay, that's whatever. At least it's slightly worse, but what are they doing this for? For jungle, or...? Okay, so I guess they're doing this for support more than anything. I guess it hits both, but... Elise is Elise, I just don't like her. Okay, Cassante. So, what's the problem with this guy now? His early laning phase is still somehow too strong. Some of it outputs later in the game are a bit shocking and overly powerful. Bruh, how many times? How many times have they changed this guy? Like, this is the thing about, like, tanks who get damage from building tank. How do you balance that? Especially on highly charged Pathmaker cast, we're nerfing both of these aspects with a couple target adjustments. So his passive is now going from 20 to 12, which is a huge nerf, I feel like, early, because you proc this a lot. At least the max health isn't changing, but goddamn. And then Pathmaker, all-out true damage is now 10 to 80 instead of 10 to 100, which is a 20% nerf. Holy shit, man. They just don't give this guy a rest. And it's sad, too, because I think Cassante is one of the people that is fun to watch until he gets overused. So maybe that's the issue. Maybe, like, he is fun at first, but if you keep seeing him over and over and over again, it gets boring. But that should be eliminated with the new system, so I don't fully know why these nerfs are going through. But either way. Mundo. I love Mundo. Mundo's simple as shit. He's funny. He's cool. I love him. What are they doing? I hope they buff him. Mundo's been on the weaker side for a few patches, especially with the recent nerfs to most of his favorite items. So they're buffing his HP, which is what he scales off of, but this is not a big buff. Whatever. Cool. Papadopoulos. Poppy lost quite a bit of power in top lane because of all the recent nerfs. Her jungle is a bit weak, and her support is still quite strong because she beats the shit out of people early. Like, it's crazy how much burst a Poppy has early. Like, it's wild. And how, like, secure it is, too. If you can get her kit off, like, it's almost a guaranteed kill or a sum. Wildness. So what are they doing? Her HP growth is going up. Her shield is also going, it's slightly nerfed early, buffed later. And her E, which is one of the most problematic things, is getting nerfed by 20. But getting buffed by bonus AD, but she doesn't really build that. So I guess it's okay. I mean, all you gotta do is just really nerf her burst early, and that's fine. So I guess this is whatever. Not crazy. Seraphine! I haven't seen Seraphine in a hot minute. What are they doing to this girl? Seraphine is performing a bit worse than typical mage supports. I don't know why they like Seraphine so much. Well, I know why. It's because they sell. As even underperforming by bot lane mage Sandra, which is crazy. She's usually the top performing bot laner, or at least up there. But delivering a small boost to her most common skill, which is maxing Q. Wow. The maximum champion bonus damage is 75%. Wow. It's usually wrong to double cast Q in fights for the bonus damage, making that a stronger option. Ha! Cool. Alright. So Seraphine is slightly better. Oof, I really hate that. Seraphine, in my opinion, when she's good, she is fucking broken. Like, she is very impactful. She scales like a fucking truck. She can dictate the team fight if done correctly. She provides utility. She provides damage. She can pseudo-engage. She can kind of peel. Like, she's just great, man. Oh my god, Seraphine is so stupid. I'm actually scared of them buffing her. And then we have Skarner, another A-tier problematic champion, which they keep buffing and nerfing. Again, not as bad as Kassan and Yumi, but kind of in a similar, area to, excuse me, to Aurora in my eyes. Because I feel like he was, when I can never play this guy correctly, and I don't know how he's so good. Maybe it's a pro setting thing, but I can never play this guy and do good. At least for the most part, for most games. So, let's see what they're doing. I feel like when he came out, he was ass, and I think he was. And then they buffed the shit out of him, and then they nerfed the shit out of him. It was just crazy, but somehow he's still good. So the slow duration of the Q is now down to 1 second, even though it's mostly a skill shot or you have to be in melee range. The final attack bonus is getting 2% shaved off the target's max health, which is crazy. And then the E cooldown is going up by 2 whole ass seconds. Wow. Dude, how is Skarner still good? Is it just like the one engage you need and then you're good? Like, what the fuck? They're shaving his damage, his utility with the slow, and his cooldown with the E, which I really don't feel like matters too much, but the E is probably whatever, but oh my lord, man, the Q. Yeah, Skarner's a little bit worse. Holy shit. Alright, then we have my favorite split pusher, Yorick. It's been too long since I played him. I feel like they should give him a buff, because they probably nerfed the... Well, they nerfed tank arms, but I just feel like Yorick needs a buff. Yorick is extremely strong as a jungler. Wow. And moderately strong as a laner, we're targeting a nerf his ability to quickly burn down camps and epic monsters with his ultimate. I think that's fair, which will have some impact on lane Yorick, but mostly nerf his ability to speed clear as a jungler. So, the Maiden Mark monster cap damage is 50. This really should not affect lane too much at all. This is fine. And then Zed, I'm assuming he's going to get buffed because he has the new gacha skin, gacha mythic chroma out, which is crazy to say. And sad, man, like, because that shit looks good. Like, it does not look bad, but it's not $150 good. Zed is still looking a bit worse for wear, and we're trying to sell skins for him. Sorry, chromas for him. So we're buffing him. The E damage, which is pretty easy to land if you're decent, is going up by 5 base, and then... Holy shit! Instead of 65, it's 80. That's a 15% bonus AD. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, they're really trying to sell that skin. Holy fuck. I haven't seen Zed good in so long, man. It's actually sad. Zed is... I forgot what champion I say this for. I guess I say it for Hui a lot. Hui is similar to Zed in that you can do good on these characters, but it requires a lot of skill and a lot of practice, I feel like. And it's like, why would you do all that when you could do it easier on someone else? Like, I'm not saying Zed can't be good, but it's like the level of difficulty to play him is like insane still. Unless they just overbuff his damage. But they should kind of do either this to Zed or to Mordecai. Or, what the fuck am I saying? Mordekaiser. Not fucking Mordecai. Either, because Zed, I don't know if they still have this, and I think that they might have took this out. It's been so long since I've even seen a Zed. That's how you know it's been long. I don't remember his kit fully. But he used to take the AD of whoever he was ulting, if he killed them, which usually was the AD, and God forbid there was a Jhin in the game. Zed was eating. But ultimately, I think that It's probably better on Mordekaiser, but they should make it to where these things have permanent stackings. Like Zed has like forbidden shadow magic. Make it so like if he kills you, he takes your shadow, he gains like a permanent buff. Same thing with Mord. You know, Mord is like this great big ruler of death that came back like twice from death. And he gets you in the death realm and he basically conquers your soul, but he only gets the buff for like while you're dead. Like let him take a piece of your soul, let him get a permanent buff. But either way, that's a decent buff, holy shit. Items. This patch we're introducing a change to the tooltip sounds that have stat stacking of elements that allows that stat to now reflect the value that you're gaining. You find the sound that items like Tear of the Goddess, Rod of Ages, Heartsteel, Winter's Approach. So more information is always good. This is a small change, but a very nice one. So Staff of Flowing Water, what are they doing? It's important that shield and heal base buffs last long enough. I feel like this item is good. This is mostly used on spammers more than anything. I really think it's good, so I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Maybe they might nerf it. Oh wow, no, they're actually buffing it. So they did change this item though. I don't believe it gives move speed anymore. It used to give move speed. Now I believe it just gives straight AP. But the AP it does give is pretty good. And it's the same duration as Ardent, so that's fine. 46 seconds, really nice buff. Cool. Yuntal. So Yuntal's interesting. This item went through a lot of iterations. My favorite was when it had the bleed based on your AD. Then it had a flat bleed, which was ass and a big nerf for Jhin. Now it's decent. You know, I think it's good. I feel like people can't really notice the actual active for this item. I think overall this is a really good stat stick item, right? It gives you crit, attack speed, attack damage. It's an all-around great item. You just need to scale it. But the passive where you attack a champion, then you get increased attack speed for a little bit, I don't really notice it too much. So either they steroid it or they don't because it's pretty much a good item. Let's see what they're doing. Unital has found a good place for some traditional bot lane marksmen, but melee crit carries are lacking in good crit itemization. Who the fuck is a melee crit carry besides maybe Zed? Or like assassins, I guess. Writing a ranged melee split to items to help these melee champs get into good crit items earlier. I mean, that makes sense because it is technically harder to farm this if you're not ranged. I didn't even know melee people were building this shit, but I guess they are. But overall, this is fair. This is a fair change. Runes. Axiom Arcanist, when I saw this shit, because this is what you switch to in Earth, this is what they give you. This shit, number-wise, seems fucking broken. Like, the fact that this is a rune is crazy to me. Axiom Arcanist is a little too strong and players have picked up on this. Oh, hell yeah, they have. We're looking to lower its high-end burst damage overall. We're happy that there's a competitive option to Mana Flow band. And I guess they kind of need it to be strong to compete with Mana Flow. Mana Flow is really good. Really good utility. But still wants to adjust power to be more reasonable. So instead of 14% single target ultimate and power, it's now shaved off by 2%, which is 12, which is fair. AoE ultimates go from 9 to 8. I think this is perfectly fair. It still gives you damage for free for no fucking reason. Like, why? Just think about it like this. First strike, you need to work for it. It does give you some gold too, which is an added benefit. But first strike gives you extra true damage, and it is true damage, so this is just flat damage, but it is higher. But it gives you true damage, but it's for so short, and it's on such a cooldown. I think this is just at all times. It is crazy. Then we go to Unflinching. Unflinching is one of the weakest runes in the game. Wow. And it needs somewhat early game focus as a way to set apart from Overgrowth. Overgrowth is so good. Unflinching is eh. So the bonus resists are going up, especially early. Holy shit, so that's good. And the earlier the better, because that's when it matters. So the Domination tree is now the Vision tree, so I don't know why they did that, but whatever. Sixth Sense remains relatively weak, even after the previous rounds of buffs. Yeah, because it's Vision. We don't want Vision, we want Kill with that tree. So we're putting the cooldown even further down, removing the range split entirely. So now it's just 250. Damn. Okay, cool. ARAM. A lot of differences to ARAM. No one really cares. Swift Play. Let's see what they did with Sudden Death. Let's see what they've changed with it, or how it's landed. We've overall been happy about the introduction of Sudden Death into Swift Play and achieving its stated goals of ensuring that matches don't drag out too long. Numbers-wise, we're not seeing games often reach into the state, but when it does, it can feel a little confusing, frustrating when the game ends without a champion taking action. And this is the biggest thing I always say with Swift Play, right? The biggest thing for me with Swift Play, well, I just need to check on something on the side here as well. Okay, the biggest thing with Swift Play, I think that's the main issue, is Swift Play doesn't really explain a lot of things. It leaves things mostly up to interpretation of like, oh, I wonder how this is faster. And if you have a trained eye, you will notice it, but it's like, why don't they just have like a list explaining this shit? I don't get it. But either way, we're making another tweak to stop by the structure burn down the Nexus. This will put the game into an easily finishable state within the time we're looking for, and Swift Play will not having it end so abruptly that you're not sure how or why. So I actually really like this change. I didn't like that it would ultimately end the Nexus for you. I thought like, okay, just leave it open and have the teams duke it out and just like expose their bare ass. I think that's the best way to do it, and that's what they ended out on. And I think this is probably the nice sweet spot. I really like this. So items. This is just, again, for Swift Play, so it's scaling a little bit faster. And then finally the arena. Oh boy, let's talk about this shit. I am so excited and so happy this shit's coming back. They are putting so much more into this. And again, if they make it more, I guess, random and roguelike-y, it's going to be better. And I think they are taking steps to that. I hope, and I don't know if they'll ever say this, but I really hope there's a potential future where they say, yeah, because of all the changes, there's actually been so much, I don't want to say attention, but so much interest in Arena, and people are playing it so much that we will make it permanent. That would be amazing. But this arena is going to be litty fucking titty. Arena Fame. For this release of Arena, we're introducing the brand new Arena Fame system as the primary way to progress through your Arena experience. You'll generally gain fame depending on how you place in your individual games, but in addition to just playing and winning, there'll be a set of 3 missions that you can accomplish per champion that will drastically increase your fame. I really don't understand what the fuck this is, aside from just arbitrary, like, hey, I have this and I'm higher than you, which is basically just ranked as well. Because you don't really get anything from playing ranked, but even though you can't not play ranked in this. So you can earn fame like this. Each round, more if you're playing with friends, the first time you play a champion, the first time you win with a champion, which is top 4, first time you finish first, if you use the bravery button, which I really like, and we got to go into that too. And then 10 fame if you played a crowd favorite. So you could actually stack a lot of fame if you do like all this shit. Again, I don't really know what that means, but whatever. Fame rewards. Oh, this is what they're doing. Okay. I have a lot of strong opinions on this. So this is where they are actually tying some augments to the fame system to where you don't have them unless you play more. So if you're actively matched with people who have played more, they technically could have an advantage because they will have potentially augments. I don't like that at all in a PvP game. In a PvE game, it's whatever. In a PvP game, I think this is almost, it's not pay to win, but it's like, hey, I've played more than you, so I have unlocked more stuff, so therefore I'm better. Because you have more options. I think options are power. Matchup intro upgrade, slow and steady gold augment, 1 reroll, which is crazy. Like, again, you're getting actual bonuses to this, which I guess doesn't incentivize you, but it's like, wow. What if you match up with someone who has no fame and you have all of it? It's like, what the fuck? I feel like it would be unfair. And my axe, which, like, they can't make these augments back, because then why would you take them? I guess maybe there's even worse options, but... cast prismatic augment. So they have a prismatic augment too. Match up into intro upgrade. Fame will increment infinitely and will show off in your arena lobbies to your friends. Wow. So beyond level 9, it's basically just, hey, I'm flexing. Interesting. We're experimenting with other ways of progression. So this might be to keep players engaged. So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not fully against this, although I do think it's a problem. But, you know, there's no really hardcore ranked. It's you're playing ranked at all times in this, which is fine. But this is a way to keep people invested, actually. So I'm not fully against this, but I don't know if this is the right way to do it. But at the end of the day, if these aren't like, if these don't have stakes, if these don't have actual like benefits or differences, and it's just cosmetic at that point, why do most people care? Unless the cosmetics are good, which why would they be? Riot's running a business, and they've shown that. Regardless, yeah. So they're trying to keep progression for engaged arena players, as we're seeing a large portion of the arena audience wasn't excited by ranked, and some cases were actively put off from the mode by the seriousness of a ranked it provides. You know, it's ironic. The only reason I didn't play arena is because it didn't really count for, I believe, earning chests or earning mastery or some shit. Now that that's out the way, I'm going to be playing arena fucking a lot. That game mode's fucking fun. I just need to be double dipping and having my time be very efficient. But now I will, so it's great. We're exploring the best version of Arena meta system to support Arena feeling worth your time and fun to play. Great. So bravery and crowd favorites. For those of you brave enough, we've added a new way to play Arena. Basically, lock in a random ass shit, but get a lot of bonuses. So bravery grants a bonus stat anvil and 2 bonus rerolls, and all you need to do is be brave enough to roll the dice for a random champion, which I think is very fun. I love this idea. Your champion will not be revealed to anyone until the loading screen, so even you won't fucking know, I think. Maybe you will. Crowd favorite is an option for those of you looking to expand your champion pool but aren't feeling up to the challenge of going basically full fucking random. During champion select, you'll see 2 to 5 random champions based on how many champions you own, with an anvil icon on the portrait. Selecting one of those will guarantee you a bonus stat anvil. So nothing huge, but a little bit of a bonus. So if you can't decide, there you go. Great. Holy fucking shit, there's so much reading. Guest of Honor. Each game of Arena will feature a group of famous Noxians or Reckoners, aka champions, that will show up during different rounds as Guests of Honor. So this is replacing the cameo system, I believe it was called. Every player in the lobby will be able to vote on it, similar to how you vote, or how you used to be able to vote for stuff in TFT at the beginning of the game. So with that, they'll randomly roll a player and the guest they stand behind. The winning guest will introduce a new rule set that will be in place the rest of the game. So it sounds like it's more of a passive thing. And they do say it here. This is a cameo replacement. Cameo system brought some much needed round-to-round variance, but it was also pretty annoying when you got a Jhin that just shot the shit out of you. While some cameos require popular like Set, and we do think there was a path forward, I love Set because you were able to infinite stack him with other stuff. Looking to find other systems that bring the same benefits, but to be more fair and more interesting. We tried a fairly wide range of guests of honor to see what kind of guests were most fun, and what kind of mechanics felt beyond acceptable. Like see what things you find most fun in this system. Cool. Excuse me. And they're going to be releasing them over 2 waves. But here's the first wave. Darius, each team takes 50 damage whenever a team is eliminated. The remaining team heals 5. Oh. Wow. Rel reduces the price of prismatic anvils. That's great. Vladimir, everyone receives a bonus matching augment. That's great. Swain, I actually like Vlad's a lot. Holy shit. Swain, Ravens, during combat, the number of ravens you collect determines the tier of your future augments. Wow. Kled, when your combat ends, gain a spell that can be cast to disrupt any ongoing combats. What the fuck? Wait, you can fuck with people. Holy shit. Wait, these are cool. Xinjiao, when your team's health is reduced below 60, gain a gold stat anvil. The first time you're at risk of elimination, get a prismatic. Briar, round damage is increased by 5, winning around while at risk of elimination heals. Oh shit. Wait, these are so cool. And can each team have this individually, or is this for everyone? I think it's for everyone. Mordekaiser, during combat, a random player on each team enters the death room. That's hilarious. Mel, 4 additional hex gates are enabled. Talon, a combatant on each team deals 20% increased damage but grants 250 gold when slain. Crazy. Scion, the ring of fire spawns 15 seconds sooner. Oh my god. Samir, striking your opponent first empowers you with 2 juices. Wow. Elise revives are replaced with Elise wrapping players in cocoons that their allies must break. Riven is unique and can appear in either voting phase. No rules changed. Wow. And then Trundle. Legendary items are locked and legendary anvils remain unavailable. Damn, what the fuck? And then map update. So this is where they basically made the whole map better. They redid the koi pond because that was a big pain point. They basically had an outer ring. So once the ring of fire spawns in, then the ring out at the map, on the edge of the map doesn't really matter. But either way, let's see what they're saying. We thought they need to be a bit more interesting. I really like the new Noxus map, though. They have a new Noxus map where there's pillars which you can destroy. I think it's really cool. We pushed pretty hard in a new direction with the koi pond, a way that was clearly too frustrating. We do think maps have a lot of room in arenas for special part, blah, blah, blah. Koi pond is seeing an update to add pathways from the island to the island so you don't feel trapped, which is great. Let's see if people like it, though. They might go the Zenless route where they might just, like, remove it entirely instead of keep trying to fix it. Man, the TV mode, man. We're also adding a new map with new interactables. Pillars! I wonder what tech they have and how this might be used in the future. These are pillars where you can attack and knock over to create walls to block pathways. If you hit an enemy with them, they deal a ton of damage. Wow. You can just really... You can legitimately knock a fucking rock on people's head. And you don't have to even play Talia. Look at that. Cool. So Arachnophobia for Elise Guest of Honor, we made 2 versions. One with clear spider iconography and, well, legit spiders. And one with all that removed for folks who prefer the amount of insect likes to remain at a minimum. So it's hide eye candy saying. So that's cool. That actually affects one of the people I actually know personally, even though they don't really play League. Wow, we'd like a proper arachnophobia filter, but this is the best we could do for now. I like how over time that's actually a legitimate thing that people recognize now. So if toggle on, no spiders will appear. Elise will not show herself when a player gets cocoon. If toggle off, a big Elise and her spider form will fall from the sky. Wow. So quality life change. You can now finally progress champion mastery. Let's fucking go. 25 new augments, 20 new augments, and 5 returning curse augments. Tons of augments and item changes. When you select a random stat envelope, you now see a message displaying which stat you received. Thank goodness, because I had to figure it out. Rerolls change from bulk rerolls, one reroll rerolls all 3 options to individual rerolls. Thank goodness. Please let us know if you have any feedback. Dude, this mode is going to be so fucking lit. I'm so ready. Mythic Shop. I don't fucking care. Bug fixes. This game is buggy as shit. And now finally we can talk about the skins. I already gave the TLDR that they suck, but the Prestige Triumphant General Darius is, I think, okay. It's decent. They still don't know what the fuck they're doing with Prestige skins. But the biggest thing I like about this Darius skin is the back. The back is, he's recreating what's happening in the video, in the cinematic they put out, where him and Trundle are duking it out. Now granted, it's a little bit different because this is old Darius doing it, and in the video it was young Darius, so it's a little bit different there, but still pretty badass. His neck gets stretched out like crazy. It looks weird as fuck, but it's cool. Grand Reckoning Draven is just Gladiator Draven V2, which is whatever. The axes do look nice though, but I think this is ridiculous and a stupid skin. Grand Reckoning Rel, the skin's ass. They're putting it in the shop. It's 975. It's terrible. Grand Reckoning Talon, the skin is fucking terrible too. Grand Reckoning Scion, this is just Armored Scion. This is ass too. Most of these are fucking asshole. And the future passes, and they did say this, they don't have to have the themes thing for the skins. It won't always be theme, because the theme is Noxus, right? These are all Pit Fighters and Noxus or whatever. These are all Noxian themed skins. In the future, it's not going to be that with whatever the theme is. And I hope to God it's not, because this shit fucking sucks ass. But hopefully in the future they get better. But overall, that's going to be the overall patch. The balance changes were whatever, again, very pro-focused. But honestly, and I did say this in the beginning, because of all the changes, especially with the chest and especially with the arena coming back, I'm probably, and if League was in a better spot, I would rate it probably much higher. But I'm going to have to give this patch at least an 8 out of 10 Mark Merrills. I think this is amazing. I'm very excited, and I can't wait to play it on stream at Twitch TV Tecnics channel. If you want to see, come live. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed. Come watch me live if you care. See you guys in 2 weeks, maybe.